All right, so I think everyone's been going through a lot lately when it comes to this anniversary and this fiasco, and I was meaning to do this a lot earlier, in all honesty, and I don't think anyone's gonna hear or listen or care in the regards because everyone has their own opinions and has been voicing their opinions, and it's just been dynamic. I think is a good word to explain. Let me get this music. Because it might take longer than 5 minutes. Who knows? But in all honesty, I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts, maybe I guess, and kind of compare something similar. I think similar. It's 1 year. Yeah, honestly, would be amazing if this game had an insane first anniversary, and a lot of people have been saying something similar along the lines of the content is outdated and the game itself can get stale in some ways. A lot of the content that comes out is quite gated. I mean, myself, I started a new account just to try free to play. Well, free to play, just using the battle pass once. I guess to some degree, not entirely free to play, but trying the more free to play aspect of the game to see how difficult, in comparison to having just kind of access to characters or resin, how different it is. And it's 17 days old, so 2 weeks. I've been playing it 2 weeks, and I've already got it to AR 45 almost, well 43, and have done almost all the story quest lines. And it just goes to show how in 2 weeks you can pretty much go through what all the content that's come out in 1 year. So some people would say, yeah, that's like not a lot, but it depends how much you're playing. Like I was actually putting 2-3 hours into the account a day, so it adds up. So something I wanted to kind of compare, and I don't know if a lot of people realize in comparison to what has come out in a year, it's quite generous. Like if you look at the patches that we've gotten over the year, yeah, a lot of them just been kind of lackluster. Honestly, the first 1 to 1.6, which is like, this is the huge jump. This is like the first massive region. Now, if they decided to actually not have leeway in the game, because I'm pretty sure leeway was accessible off the bat. I'm kind of going off rough memory for a lot of this, but in all honesty, if you think about it, if leeway was added as like a DLC, how insane would it have been? Not DLC, but like an expansion, like a patch. I don't think it was. Let me just quickly double check though. I think it was just the characters that were added. Mighty Cyclops, new world quests, new systems, new achievements, new harvestable resources, bamboo shoot. Yeah. So leeway was already there. The questline was already in place, if I'm correct. Now, obviously, that could be wrong, and it was actually an extension. I mean, I can't very well remember that long ago. But, does that actually say? Was it blocked off? Okay, anyways, I'm kind of already thinking about this. So, leeway's huge. And I'm already butchering the name, but like it's a huge region. Like even to this day, I've like not wanted to even grind out the exploration in Leeway because it's just obnoxious going up and down the mountains and finding everything. But it's actually a really big region in comparison. So if you kind of like consider Inazuma comparatively to the acceleration, so it took a year to get to. Roughly a year to get to where we are now in Inazuma, right? So July, actually a little less. You had a new region, and within the span of 2 months, this region's almost already done. Like that's to put a time frame, and this is kind of just making I guess a comparison to what ultimately how young this game is. And that's what people, I think, need to be more focused on. Yeah, it would be great, because if you're comparing to other gacha games, yeah, the rewards would be great, but, like, in all honesty, who gives a shit? It's like a Band-Aid. Like, really. Like, it'd be great to have some free stuff. Obviously, amazing if we could have a free character, or a free weapon, or anything like that. I mean, we get into the Sea Lord, who cares? It would be great, but it's like that expectation, going into it, to an anniversary with even at all high expectations, when in reality, it's still within its first year, and the game itself is quite young comparatively to like every other MMO. If you compare it to an MMO, I guess, which it has some aspects of an MMO, like MapleStory, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 14 had an incredibly rough road to get to where it was, and it's doing really well now. Obviously, it's like the bigger than World of Warcraft now, almost. So something I just want to kind of guess compare to, and I think this is a great comparison. Pokemon Go. I think everyone obviously has heard of Pokemon Go. Hopefully this doesn't flag anything. I don't know. I don't really know everything. So Pokemon Go hype was insane. It was considered like borderline, what would you call it? What's the word I'm looking for right now? A phenomenon. There's never been a phenomenon quite like Pokemon Go. And the game itself came out, it's like 2016. When was it? Like the official release date of Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go release date was July 6, 2016, right? So summer of 2016. It took them, no joke, and like this isn't in reference. So if you look up when Johto came out, so the first time they started to introduce the second gen for such a huge game. I mean, the content of Pokemon Go got stale pretty quick, let's be honest. Radaround, caught Nidorans, caught Rattatas, whatever. Boom. 2016 was when the first baby Pokemon came out, and then February 16th, so almost a full year, like 9 months, took 9 months for the game to come out with one additional generation, which Pokemon Go has its system to come out with stuff, and they slowly leaked. To kind of, in reference to that, it took them a full year. It was their first anniversary where they came out with Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos. Something that some might say to argue, that it should have been almost immediately in the game, the concept of like raid battles and some of the content that was eventually added to the game. And even most of the Pokemon Go anniversaries were cool, but nothing grand. And this arguably is a game that had a bigger paywall. I mean, you had to pay for Pokeballs, and there was so much incentive to spend money on this game, and just to have more. And they gave you like eggs and like the hatcheries, incubators, and stuff, but really nothing was like obscene. They didn't give you free shinies. You still had to go out and catch them and try to get them, and you got lucky or not lucky. I mean, there's been, the quests, and arguably those are the best rewards, are good quest lines that reward you something good in the game. So try to direct this to Genshin. It's young. It's in the development phase to some degree still. I mean, MiHoYo probably never expected this game to take off to what it is now. So what I'm trying to hope people might see through everything is, yeah, it sucks, and I get the negativity and the hatred and a lot of the targeted, and people want an answer, and I do hope there is an answer. But what I'm trying to just say is, in comparison to how other games have handled similar events or similar youth of their age, I mean, you start doing research and find that a lot of games in their first year weren't the greatest systems. It takes a while. It takes a long time for a game to develop to what it is now. World of Warcraft, even the early stages, yeah, the game was great and there was a lot of content to do, but some people say Cataclysm or even the Burning Crusade is when like the game became different or better, or like ultimately what it is, like defined it, the defining thing. I think Inazuma has defined Genshin as a game that potentially has lore, and it's fascinating. Absolutely, I'm utterly fascinated with what potential this game can have. The regions, the resources. I mean, even if you start to look at the characters and what the variety of characters, it's so lacking. And the fact that they're starting to come out with more and more free weapons, which ultimately means the game's going to get easier, in like quotation marks, easier, because things aren't going to be difficult to achieve, even like comparatively. Like starting a free to play at the beginning of the game to now, I mean, you have access to so many resources to play the game faster. Like I said, I got an account to 40 over AR 40 in under 2 weeks, playing only a few hours a day. Was shocked I got there. So yeah, it's like, it's time condensed, but you could spread things out. And what I'm just trying to say is this game might end up shocking people to what it is 5 years from now. And if anything, what we should hope is that if MiHoYo does listen, that yeah, the first anniversary might suck, but maybe the next one next year, it's gonna end up being like, wow, okay, our bad, we fucked up, this is our ailment. And I'm not saying, wow, we have to wait a year, but like, it's COVID. There's been restrictions even in anywhere in the world, like the stress. That's why a lot of games haven't developed a lot. You look at League of Legends for this entire year, nothing's really happened. As far as like the development side of things, they came out with a few champions, very little visual reworks got released this year, and a lot of things were taken a step back because the stress loads of everything was changed because of the pandemic and stuff. So I think just be patient and just give time, and hope that we get to see a glorious story unfold. And this is kind of why it's like advocated as like an anime in some sense. And just like, I don't know, like I'm absolutely in love with a lot of these characters, and I'm just hoping to see more and better. But it's going to get to a point where if you decided to pick up this game after all this content was released, like, you know, whether it's patch 3, patch 4, patch 5, do you have any idea how much stuff you're going to have to end up doing? Ultimately, this is like, we're in the beginning phases of this game. It's still so young. It's a year. It's like you have to compare it to other games and think, oh, are they doing good? I think they're doing great. Yeah, the events could be sometimes maybe more dynamic, but they're learning. If you've actually noticed, every time an event's come out, they do listen. They have the surveys. People, they believe they do. Like, I've compared some of the old events and how grindy some of them felt, and now some of the new events, they're pretty good. So I'm hoping for the best. Maybe we hear something a lot, like, to ease a lot of the people's pains, but I'm really just kind of want to say, just let take a chill, take a step back, chill out, listen to some music, and just realize that this game is young, and you can't expect perfection or a full thing and full platter at this stage. And I think it's also translated in the frustration of Kokomi, I'm not gonna lie. Probably Kokomi, like, they could have came up with a better character to associate with the anniversary. Like, if they released Ball with the anniversary, wow, that would have been better timing. Because if Raiden Shogun came out with the anniversary, okay, now I'm just kind of ranting because that's like optimistic. That would have actually been insane. And they came out with Raiden Shogun on the anniversary. Better timing. Yeah, I think maybe there's going to be a surprise around the corner, but keep your hopes up. I know people are going to still play this game. I don't think it's going anywhere. I'm waiting for the Zhao Bat rerun because I really want Zhao personally. This game is gonna go down. Nothing has ever been made like this. It was just like Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go redefined the concept of a mobile game. To have that many people play a game on their phone, and now a game like this, which is PC as well as mobile, how many people have been part of this community, and how insanely great this community is, and how vocal everyone is. I don't know if anyone realizes how lucky everyone is to have something to play and to be unified around, and just be thankful for that. Like, be appreciative that we got there. And yeah, the parts of the rewards that suck, yeah, more would be better, but like, people are people. More is never enough. They could have came up with a 5-star character, and people would probably have found say they made it was a 5-star character and it was randomized. So it's a standard banner, but you got one random 5 cost. Well, then the cheat sheet memes would have got even worse. Would it have been at least something? Yes. But then you would have had a very different perspective. If these rewards or the anniversary rewards were changed and everyone had randoms, well, then everyone would be on like the fences where it's like, oh, we're the cheat sheet gang, everyone got a free cheat sheet, and then there's going to be people who are like, oh, I got a Mona, or I got a Diluc. Yeah, my Diluc's now C4 because of this, or C2 or something, while you're like, there was cheat sheet or like an extra gene if you don't want gene or whatever character. You know, like, you're never going to please the audience. The audience will always have frustrations, and nothing's ever going to be good enough. But what you have to appreciate is the hard work that developers have put into this game. The story, yeah, some people say is rushed, but like, I think they're trying to get to a place where they're gonna full-flesh the story out, because you're gonna come out with stories, and considering for the most part it's a free game. It is a free game. You can download it and play it, and the content and quality of the game itself is amazing. Appreciate it, and hope that the next thing is going to satisfy everyone, but it never will be enough. I think it's just bad timing, maybe bad execution, like a lot of things. Because Kokomi coming out with in association with the anniversary is probably the frustration to see, like, yeah, obviously the 4-star is insane, but like, she's kind of underwhelming. Also, the Abyss just sucks. That is torture if you don't have characters built for it already. What is this? Ooh, fancy. Alright, now I'm just kind of scrolling. I would like to hear what people think. I think some people have taken a drastic turn and very aggressive. It seems very aggressive how everyone has been handling the information and their opinions. I just want people to kind of take a step back and think about how ultimately young this game is in comparison to some of the other games that have been out, and how long it took for other games to develop. Some games didn't even take and this is going to be a small rant, but like, I came from an MMO, if anyone's played MapleStory, and it had its largest controversy 15 years after the game was released, which a lot of the stuff that they were bringing up and arguing and discussing about has been in the game since like early stages of the game, where it was like in the first 2, 3, 4 years where this game was being developed, you know, being a big MMO, and some of the coding and some of the features that were incorporated and developed. If you're aware of the MapleStory controversy, like, I could start to look it up, but it's like, the MapleStory controversy is so crazy to come from it, and I left it because it was just like, you realize how the developers don't really care, and they're not going to do any changes, and even if they do, everything is translated from a Korean server and it comes over to the West, and then if it's coming over from the West, it takes 6 to 8 months. You have to wait just for quality of life, and quality of life is like, that should just be the standard. It took 15 years for a game to come out, for players to realize how corrupt some of the systems were and how rigged it was. And then they argued about it, and now there's a huge controversy of it. And they're fixing it, quotation marks. but it's not going to stop people from playing the game. It's not going to stop people from spending money on the game, because people who are wanting to do it, they're going to do whatever they want to do. And it makes you, like, I think you have to look at the perspective of everything. Genshin's 1 year old, and they listen to almost everything. Some of the, like one of the things, so this is something I think, I don't know if everyone's thought about this. A lot of people hate the reroll system on the artifacts. They're like, oh, we have an artifact reroll system, but it sucks. It's not that great. But it also only applies to 4 sets currently, because I'm pretty sure it's a test run. They're testing to see how well it reacts with how do people like that system. Do they need to make it more complex, or do they simplify it and just make it more generous? Where can they go in progression of the game and develop to a point where people are going to be satisfied and they can satisfy a broader audience, rather than if they came out with that and you could turn in all your, like, you know, all your Crimson Witch pieces into that machine. Oh my god, I think people would have, like, rage quit, because it would have been just like, wow, I dumped all my extra Crimson Witch flame artifacts into the reroll system, and I got absolutely shafted. I'm personally holding on to a lot of my old, like, 5-star artifacts, because I just have a theory that I just think that they're going to end up adding a better system. They've constantly improved a lot of the quality of life over the year. In a year, they improved quality of life in a year. That's insane to me. So it's good. It's gracious. Like, it's actually something to be impressed with, and it's just gonna get better, is what I'm trying to say. It's just gonna get better. I think this game has a company that, despite it being a gacha game, can realize how successful a story-driven, even the voice actors. If you look at the voice acting alone across multiple languages, they've brought in major voice actors. They've given opportunities to people who haven't even had voice acting roles and whatnot. Like, I mean, as dynamic, well, not dynamic, major roles at least, because I think Lily Pichu has had different voice acting jobs, but this was like one of her bigger ones, right? Like, Lily Pichu was voiced a major character in a major game. Like, that's an incredible opportunity, whether you're a small character or not. That's an amazing opportunity, right? And to give people that opportunity, and it's a year. That's insane to me. And I'm like, that's insane. And people want more. Like, just be thankful and look towards tomorrow and the fact that we're gonna end up having all this content eventually, and you're not gonna know what to do with it at one point. Now, if they drag out Inazuma somehow, that would suck. That's the backside. If they drag out Inazuma, that would suck. Not gonna lie. I'm hoping. But, one region per year would suck. It could theoretically get worse, but I actually think it'll always get better, because this game has improved a lot, and it's really still in its developing phase of a game. It's learning what it is. What can we do? What can we improve on? How can we improve it on? And they do listen. Just feel like, just gotta do what you gotta do. Anyways, I could rant on about this forever because I'm exhausted. I'm just mindlessly talking now. But I just think people have to realize it is a good game. Obviously, it's a good game. A lot of people know that. But it'll be great at the end of it all. I think people are gonna be shocked at what this game is gonna go down in as history. All right, well, let me know what you guys think. Honestly, just let me know what you guys think. If anyone's listening, I'll be here. I'm always happy to chat and talk about it, because I just think that's what you can do in the meantimes, and wait for what happens next. Until next time, peace out, guys.